Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So video games have been a really big part of my life, and I think a lot of people can relate. And the one thing now that I really want to talk about today is the video game creators. Because now that I've actually been a YouTube content creator myself, I actually look at this from a different perspective now, and I never realized how important video games are from a creative standpoint. And so whenever I was a kid, and even up to now, I think a lot of us would see video games as a form of entertainment. And we knew obviously that there were people behind it that actually created this. But if you actually look at it from the creative elements, all these things are extremely important into any medium that you go into whenever you are creating. Okay, and so I'm gonna today relate all of that to what it is to be a YouTube content creator for myself. So let's go ahead and start with the very first element, and that is the visual element. Video games, it's all about the visuals. Whether you were talking about the very first video games like Pac-Man, Asteroid, or Pong, up until this game right here, which is Daytona USA, up until our modern games right now, the visual element is probably the most important element whenever people are actually looking at a video game. And that is something that is really dependent upon the type of storytelling that you want to express to people, the type of experience that you actually want them to have. And in this case, you want people to feel like they are a driver, a racer. You're in this really fast environment, and in order for you to do that, your visual quality has to be top notch. And hats off to Sega, Yu Suzuki, and AM2 team for making that possible. But if you actually think about the craft of visual storytelling, you gotta think about, like, how did you actually create this? What tools would you actually need to do this? Like in this case, I'm pretty sure they went out to actual racetracks, took pictures, took videos to get a sense of how they actually want to take real world elements and put it in a digital world that did not exist before. And then similarly, if you are a YouTube content creator, you're going to think about, like, well, do you want to tell a visual story that's more authentic, more relatable? Like maybe you would record something on a smartphone, right? Versus something like, well, maybe you want to be more commercial, and so that means you're going to have a lot better camera equipment. You're going to have lighting. You're going to have different actors, actresses, all those things. And so it really is a big part of what type of story that you're trying to tell. So the visual element is very important. And then second to that is the technical aspects that will bring these visuals to life. Now, I myself have been in the technology field for many years, and I have done some programming myself. But wow, to be a programmer for a video game like this, I just cannot imagine. There's probably millions of lines of codes, and if I have to think about error handling, testing, and then even the AI that's involved, yeah, it would just make my brain explode. And then if you actually think about technically from a YouTube content creator standpoint, okay, you have all the technical elements of creating the content, right? Your camera equipment, your lighting, all that stuff. Now, what are you going to do post? What type of video editor are you going to use? What type of audio elements are you going to have? Transitions, the color grading, all those things, all those elements, all those technical elements that people who don't create these type of things might not be aware of, And similarly to video games, people are probably not thinking about the programming aspect, all the tools that are required, the graphical elements here, the lighting, the transparency here, the audio elements. There's so many technical elements here, the frame rates. There's so many things here that you actually have to think of, and so video game creators have so much responsibility when it comes to that. They have a lot to handle, and once again, I really just boggles my mind to think that you would have to take all this programming code and knowledge and make it into something that's actually playable for normal people. Okay, so that is another thing. And then the one thing that I think is invaluable that you really need is story. And I'm not just talking about the characters in a video game. What I'm talking about here is the story that you want to tell to the users, that you want them to be a part of. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, in this case, visually, obviously, you want to be a racer, but the story is you want people to feel that they are a rookie coming into this whole circuit, and then learning to hone their skills and craft as a racer and to be a champion, so I really feel that's the story that Yu Suzuki and his team was trying to tell here. And then similarly with this YouTube video that I'm creating right now, and the story that I want to tell is I want to tell my experiences, my history with video games, and specifically the video game creators and how that's related and impacted me as a current YouTube content creator, and how a lot of the same elements can be transferred here. And so, the story, as you can tell right there, it is absolutely a part of the foundation of every element of creation that you have, because without a story, people will not be emotionally invested with your creations. And then the final thing that I can think of when I think about video game creation and being a YouTube content creator is the fact that you actually made this real. Because for a lot of creators, we have so many ideas in our minds, and a lot of people do. But the difference between people who create and the people who don't necessarily create is that the creators actually make it happen. They take something that was not there or something that was thought of impossible and they made it real for other people to actually experience. And that is something that I really feel a lot of people who've never really done this might not understand. There's just something about taking something that didn't exist, your imagination, putting all the work that's involved, learning the skills, going through so many ups and downs emotionally, the time you have to put in, and to bring this to life. And then knowing that, this might or might not satisfy people. People might not like it, but at the same time, it's yours. You create this, you built this. And that's a feeling that it's really hard to explain unless you've actually been through this yourself. And I really feel out of all the mediums, maybe I'm biased, but video game creators, I think they have the toughest jobs when it comes to that aspect of creation, because there's just so many things that are involved, and you're literally building a whole new world, whereas in things like movies, of course, there's CG movies and so forth, but a lot of that is very passive, where this is actually interactive, and this just takes the challenge that's required to, I think, a really different level. And so those are my thoughts on video game creators, how that's related to YouTube content creation, specifically for me as a YouTube content creator, and how I once again really want to thank all the video game creators out there. I mean, I'm playing this game. This was originally created in 1994. This version, which is on the Sega Dreamcast, actually came out in the year 2000. So it's just absolutely amazing that your ideas, your creations have really brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, and most importantly, it could inspire many people, especially young people that, maybe they might want to get into this field. Maybe they want to be a creator. Maybe they want to learn all these skills. And similarly, that's affected me. I'm now a creator, and I just really am grateful for all the video game creators out there. And so if you had any thoughts or comments on this, on video games and video game creators and how they relate to being a creator, whether it's on YouTube or any other medium, be sure to leave that in the comments here below. And if you did want to see a previous video I did on the Sega Dreamcast, which is my favorite video game system, I will also leave that in the description area below as well. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.